Hello, good evening, everyone. So I'm Dinesh Balu from Net2B Services. So pleasure to meet you for have this session on the evolving project profession of project management. So we'll start in a few minutes. We're just waiting for some couple of people to join in. So first of all, can you hear me well? Is my sound okay? Just can give me a thumbs up, please.
Yes, it's good for me. I can hear you.
Okay, great. Thank you. So for today, in today's session, we'll have a featured speaker, Mr. Shreb Pierbakas, who is a PMI certified professional. He will be the main speaker, and then at the end, I will do a brief presentation on some project management tools. So while we are waiting, just for those who don't know about Net2B, so Net2B has been incorporated in Mauritius. We are since 18 years. It was founded by Jean-Maurice Prosper in 2006. We were focusing on IT infrastructure, cybersecurity, and over the years we've diversified. And we also have a business unit called Net2B Services. Since around 5 years, we've been also doing business application, especially Zoho. Okay, so everyone, so we thank you that you've taken of your precious time this evening, and we hope it will be a very instructive session for you. And we also hope at the end it will be interactive if you have questions and all. So, Shreb, are you ready? Just let me know when you're ready to start. Yes, a couple of our attendees are stuck in, there has been a road accident around a bend. There has been a lorry. I just heard about this. So I just know that a couple of people are stuck in traffic. So just bear with us a few minutes. Thank you. Okay, great. So he's about to start. So, okay to you, Shweb.
All right. Hi, guys. Can you see my screen properly? Is that good for everyone?
Yes, we can.
Excellent.
But not you. We can see.
Yes, we can see.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
So
we can.
apologies for the delay. So very unexpected situation. Took me almost an hour to drive from Saint-Pierre to Eben. Unbelievable. So yeah, essentially today we'll look into a very interesting topic like many people's talking about. It's how the profession of project managers are changing. I'm sure many of you have heard about, we should be using Agile, we should be doing this and that. Well, essentially, we are all on a moving plane. Things are changing. To kind of have an introduction, once a wise man says, the exam paper is the same, but the answer has changed. So we are still facing the same problem, but the solution that we need to apply is changing. So the profession of being project manager, we have to evolve. We have to be there. We are the one that makes things happen. We turn ideas to reality. So in the half an hour I'll be with you, I'll try to cover some where we are at today, the driving, the changes, and the new capabilities for project managers 2024 and beyond. So essentially, like I mentioned, the world is changing and we don't have any choice, but we have to adapt with the evolving change. So we'll be focusing on three main points just to make it easy for everyone. So we'll be talking about how that element of people centricity approach to project is creating that change. There is, of course, VUCA, the perpetual evolution. I'm sure most of you have heard of that. And very recently, it's about AI and project management. So we'll try to focus on just three items, which I believe is the three most important elements that's really causing the profession to change and we as project managers to evolve the way that we deliver projects. So essentially, we are moving from the world where we are a very manufacturing world to a world where we've got a service-oriented. The service workers are very important. We don't have that many manufacturing employees as we used to have. So the way that we approach problem, the way we manage people is changing. In the manufacturing world, it was very clear of the task that the people have to do. It was clearly laid out. Whereas in the service sector, where we have knowledge workers, things are not predictable at all. And the very interesting fact is that in the manufacturing world, the boss or the manager or the supervisor used to have a very solid knowledge of how his workers is doing the work. So essentially, he has probably started very down, and with the years and experience has climbed up the ladder and become the supervisor and the manager. This is how it is in the manufacturing world. Unfortunately, when we have the service sector that started down in the 1990s, and we have seen the explosion after the year 2000, is we have kept the same approach that we've been using in the manufacturing world, and we've been applying in the service sector, and the same approach will be applying to the knowledge worker. But we're trying to take a square peg and fit into a round hole. So definitely we'll see a lot of frictions, and this is where the trouble comes. And one of the salient features of the knowledge workers is, the knowledge worker is more knowledgeable than the manager. So this poses a huge problem where the manager is not the know-it-all. It's the guy that's doing the work that knows the work much better than the manager. So this has caused us to go for a people-centric approach. the way that we manage people, the way that we manage our team. So we've changed from a command and control to a more people-centered approach, where we have to have more of collaborative leadership, where communication is very important, and we start talking of something where we commonly know as the soft skills, and in project management, PMI name it as power skills. These are the whole set of people skills that project managers are called upon to possess so that they make a project happening. So it's no longer about command and control. It's no longer about telling someone, please do this task, this you have to get done by whatever date and thing like that. This has changed. It is about collaboration, being empathic to people, understanding people, listening, communicating properly. And essentially, it's about motivation, influencing people, motivating employees to get the work done. So it's a whole different approach where we used to assign job to people, and now it's about people working together in a collaborative way and get the work done. So one huge change of project managers here is the introduction of project managers are called upon to leverage more and more of their soft skills, also known as the power skills. So it's no longer about that these technical skills of being project managers to make calculation, to schedule job. Yes, this is still important, but also important are all these soft skills, the collaborative, the communication, the innovative mindset, for purpose orientation, and empathy. So if you would like to be a successful project manager in 2024 and you don't have these power skills, soft skills, so it's very tough to get project done. So this is the first element that we've seen in the recent past 5 years or so in project management. The second biggest trend in project management is what we've seen across is VUCA. So essentially VUCA is the volatility, the uncertainty, the complexity, and the ambiguity. So this is something very perpetual that's been there for like almost more than 20 years now. But now we are seeing the impact of VUCA more and more in our everyday life. Something very important is, when people's been in the VUCA world, they try to have different approach of project management. And many of you, if you would like a scale of, on one side, you have agile on one extreme, and on the other extreme, you have the predictive methods. This is a survey that's carried out by PMI. It's a survey dated 2023, and it's about how the different approach to project management is happening in various sectors. So we could see that in sectors like IT, financials, and to some extent in healthcare, we see the predominance of agile. And in sectors like construction, it's still quite predictive approach. And in between, we see that people is using quite a bit of the hybrid approach. Now, let's crack that box of the struggle where we say, do we do agile? Do we do predictive approach? So essentially, let's bring in the project manager. The project manager is about delivering value to make an impact. And essentially, it depends on the situation the project manager has in front of him. He will apply the best approach to the way of working, the wow. Essentially, central to the way of working is the methodology, is what some will say like it's agile, others would say predictive, and some would say it's hybrid. So this change of approach is very important that project managers be fully conversant with that. So let's try to understand a little bit how project managers behaves in various situations. So essentially, how we evolve in the construction world, where we see 76% is predictive. Are they wrong? Absolutely no. Why? So essentially, what does predictive approach says? Let's sit down, let's think about everything, understand all the requirements, let's do the design, and then we start building things. And this approach works very well in the construction industry, where we know things are driven a lot by very rigid contract, by tenders and things. So it makes sense so that stakeholders come together, they discuss all the issues, of all the requirements, and then they do the execution of the project, like actually building the building. Whereas on the other side, where we see the IT and the financial sector, which is still evolving. So many times we see when things get started, for example, in the area of fintech or new piece of software, new piece of apps, we hardly have a clear idea of what we are building. Essentially, it's after we launch the product, because it's the first time that we're doing it. It's after we launch it, then based on the feedback, we realize what the market truly needs. Of course, we do a lot of market analysis, design thinking, and so on, but we are never sure exactly how the market will react, how the product will fare on the market. So in these areas, it just doesn't make sense for us to sit down, spend like, I don't know, a few months to do the thinking, the requirement, and another few months for design, and then go to the market, and we realize that this is not the right product to put on the market. So in this situation, we could see that the agile approach makes it very nicely, where we focus on some minimal viable product, like a minimal business increment, on the minimal piece of software that we will quickly do the planning, put onto the market, get feedback, and then iterate and makes it better. So, and then in the middle, what we see is the hybrid approach, where we are not too sure, do we spend some more time, and then we try to go faster, and then slow down a little bit. So essentially, the hybrid flavor can exist in all is, as project managers, we can't be rigid. There was a time where project managers were very, I'm not saying rigid, but they had a very clearly set out framework where they do step 1, step 2, step 3. But now with the change, with the VUCA world, project managers can no longer just say, I'm going step 1, step 2, step 3. Project managers need to look at the situation, at the different factors in there, and then adapt their way of working. The way of working is hybrid, is agile, is predictive. So this is the way of life of the project managers in 2024. It's no longer as much predictable as it used to be like 10, 20 years ago. So we have to adapt and deliver value according to customer expectation. So this kind of leave us from the second point and move to the third point, which really impacting our. So apologies. So essentially, I'd also like to bring in some things about the VUCA world, about the project managers in terms of the skills. Yes, they of course need to have the different way of working, but it also poses a challenge in terms of skill set for project managers. So project managers used to, at some point in time, be the champion of the project methodology. But now with the changing world, we see that project managers are called upon to manage various types of teams, cross-functional team, focus solution teams, core team, component teams, and you name it. There is so much different team. So essentially, this has bring forward from research that project managers need to have some T-shaped skills. So what the T-shaped skills means, essentially when you have an I-shaped skill, it's one specialism. So you're a specialist in one area, like, a doctor, he's a specialist in medicine. An accountant is a specialist in accounting, but a project manager is not a specialist in just one field. Yes, he has a deep knowledge in one discipline. He masters one system, but in terms of understanding and for communication and to talk to the different team members, the project managers are called upon to have a variety of skills. Earlier on, we talk about the soft skills, which would be part of that part where we call the T-shape, where we have the many discipline. All right. So essentially, there are cross-boundaries competencies. So like you could see here. So I just lay it out there for your own readings. And of course, it needs to have a number of technical skills. So you can't imagine a project manager working in the financial sector and got no clue about finance. So essentially, they need to have just enough knowledge to be able to talk to the people. What we are saying about the T-shaped skills is, the project managers need to have some sufficient, solid knowledge about a number of areas. But of course, the project managers need to be a specialist into one or more areas. For example, he's specialized in project management, and probably he's specialized in maybe another sector like finance or IT or the logistics sector or something like that. But what's really important is where we see the horizontal, these boundary crossing competencies, which are really becoming really valuable nowadays for project managers. So essentially, this is what we see lacking a lot with project managers these days, because to have these boundary crossing competencies, you need to have spent sufficient time gaining these skills. It's not something that you sit in a class for 1 year or 2 years and you gather these skills and you come in there. It is something where it is a journey of continuous learning and growing your skills, picking up new skills, going for mentorship and things like that. This is where you build these horizontal layers skill. This is critical for the success of project. Yes, the deep knowledge, you have acquired it and it's going to be still helpful for you. But something that we've seen nowadays that didn't exist here, these boundary crossing competencies, a wide set of competency that project managers need to have under his belt to be successful. So this kind of concludes the second point. The third point, I think most of you are already hearing lots of buzz about that. It's about AI, about artificial intelligence and project management. Yes, this is impacting the profession. And those who are members of PMI knows that PMI's got a number of tools, courses, and things like that to bring up the skill set of project managers in that area of AI. Essentially, according to a recent research last year, we see that the top 3 areas impacted by AI is data collection and reporting, performance management, project time management, and scheduling. Essentially, if you have tried a number of tools, ChatGPT, Microsoft Copilot, you will see how these guys are, that these tools are so performing in terms of gathering data and putting forward, insight about the data. Well, what does that say in terms of project managers? Should we ignore that? Should we kind of say, no, this is just a fad, it's going to disappear? No. We believe that it's going to be here to stay and grow and become more important. Essentially, we have to evolve our way of working, our skill set, embrace these tools that just come on the market, these AI tools like ChatGPT, PMI's got Infinity. So all these tools, we need to bring that forward to help us as project managers save our time and focus our effort and energy where we will really make a difference. Like, for example, talking to people, understanding, to empathize with users and understand the problems, motivating our team. These are areas where we're really bringing value. instead of fighting a war where we say, oh no, we're going to write our own reports, we're going to spend time, doing performance monitoring, when these AI tools can do that very well for us. So we need to go and embrace this tool and bring that down into our profession. So like you see, there are areas where AI is not that much useful, where human can make a difference in terms of stakeholder management, project communication, and budgeting. So we need to focus our effort in that areas and leverage AI tools for areas where it's performing very well and is going to relieve us of the work pressure. Yes, AI is here to grow. The global market for AI in project management is projected to grow from 2.5 billion in last year to 5.7 billion in 2028 at a compounded growth annual rate of 17.3% during a forecast period. This is from a research done by PMI. So it is something that's like spreading like forest fires, gaining ground. And as project manager, this is just to tell you that we just can't ignore it. So essentially, if we go back and says, what are the tasks that project managers really help us in terms of AI? It's about automation efficiency, like I mentioned, data analysis, getting insight of data. And also, I'm sure many of you are using Copilot or Read.ai and a number of other tools. For example, they are what we call the intelligent assistant. For example, I'm using Read.ai. So in my meeting, I've got Read.ai that's came in. So I didn't check in this one if we got Read.ai that came in. So Read.ai does a fantastic job of first doing the transcript. Secondly, they do a summary of the meetings plus a set of actions. So as a project manager at the end of the meeting, you just need to access these reports, have a look at the action points generated. And of course, AI is not 100% accurate. There will be tweaking that you have to do, but yet 80-90% of the work has already been done. This is how you leverage these tools to make your life easier. And of course, there are things like, in terms of collaboration and communication, we've got AI embedded in emails where it goes and churn out items that you haven't replied, reminds you of action that you need to respond to. So this makes it easier for you to be more productive. So basically, these are just a few examples, where AI is really helping in project management. During the Q&A, we can take some more suggestion and discussion about that. So just to summarize where we are at in terms of evolution. So some key advice for the changing world is we need to be nimble. The success of project managers is the ability to be agile. Ability is agility. So we need to understand the situation and we shouldn't be stuck by framework. Instead, we should break free of these framework and try to apply the most relevant way of working. Technology is here to rule. We've seen it all the time where we start having project management information system, and more recently, like I mentioned, AI. So we just can't ignore technology. Technology is here to stay. Next item is we've seen people centricity. We no longer have manufacturing workers, we have knowledge workers. So we need to have that human approach with all the soft skills to make it happen. And lastly, our survival is critical. It is about our skill set. It's about us as project managers to grow and to stay updated, to stay relevant. And this is about where we need to start picking up our T-shaped skills, where we need to have a broad skill and of course, specialize in our area of project management. I haven't been, I hope I covered some main points. I try to keep it quite brief so that we can have some more time for Q&A and have some discussion instead of just having a one-way conversation. So I'll pass it to the moderator, to Dinesh, to manage the Q&A.
Okay. Thank you, Shweb, for this very informative presentation. So, I would like to, if any of the attendees want to share, have questions, please, you can either unmute yourself or you can post in the chat message and we'll respond to it. So maybe just to break the ice, and if you want to know, okay, so how many of you are actual project managers, or they have you're in a profession where they manage project, but not actually a project manager. So please tell us in the comments so that we can understand what is your background. Okay, so we have a good question here from Jean-Maurice. Okay, so he says, what is the reality of AI adoption in Mauritius in project management? Shweb?
Well, it's a very interesting question. So I replied in twofold. So essentially, in my circle of close collaborators, I see them using AI quite a bit. They've been trying to embrace that philosophy. But quite often when I talk to in the bigger community, I see that it's still very timid. People still believe it's a fad. It's probably not reality. It's just about having fun with ChatGPT or deep fake video and images. I don't know. I would much like to hear from the audience, from a professional point of view. How are you embracing AI and how is that happening? Okay, let me ask. So how many of you in your meetings, I'm sure many of you do lots of online meetings. So how many of you use digital assistant for your meeting? So anyone using it? So maybe they just put a thumbs up. Anyone using AI assistant?
I do use. Right now, I have my AI running to record the meeting, then it will give me the summary, the heat waves and everything. So I do use that. It's very useful. And I don't have to go and then write the notes of meetings and everything. So I do use, no, you have many tools integrated with Zoom, which gives you a lot of these facilities. I would like to hear from now we have like 16 persons in the Zoom. If anyone could comment or share to make it more interactive, and when you comment, you can just type in the chat. That will help us take on this very wonderful topic that we're talking today. Thank you.
Sorry, I was trying to pick on Kedar earlier. So Kedar is a very reputed PMP instructor in Mauritius. So Kedar, suggestion, comments, questions?
Yeah, hi Shoaib, hi everyone. Yeah, so for me at my level, I think AI is all around us in different shapes and forms, not just professionally and personally as well. I think we do have a heavy influence of artificial intelligence even within our organization where we work, and it's more or less based on what the ChatGPT version is. But in general, I think we will see a lot of these activities, and I'll give you an example. So a lot of the organizations today have what we call as knowledge bases. Traditional ways is you document it on Wikipedia, you have PDFs, you have recordings and all of that. And I think the preferred way for the businesses today is can we automate, or is there an opportunity to automate some of these things where a lot of this information is available on the click through audio commands, through specific keyword sections. And the idea is, out of all of those things, how can we reach our target information pretty quickly? So that's just one example. I'm sure a lot of you guys have already used Facebook and even the kind of searches that we do on Facebook. A simple example would be if you are looking for a particular product, searching for it on a platform like Facebook, on Amazon, on eBay. The next time you go visit that platform, it'll automatically start showing you those products or those articles or any post which is related to those items. So I think all of these are good examples, but again, the key here, as Shoaib mentioned, is it is here to stay. How we as the project managers community is able to adapt around that piece is really going to be the key. And the other important piece is, I think, instead of looking at it as a threat, not really as a threat, but the most typical conversation around AI is, is AI going to run away with our jobs and all of that? I think more from that point of view is how can we embrace it and make it a part of our day-to-day lives? How do we integrate it with well, and then how can we use it to our benefit? And I'm sure, I don't know if anyone you have taken up the course on PMI around AI, where they've introduced all these concepts. So just few cents from my side about AI and how we can integrate it with our day-to-day activities. Thank you.
Thank you, Kedar. So I have launched a poll, so I will be keen to know, okay, if you we appreciate if you can answer the poll for those who so that we can know your background and what are the challenges you're facing as a in managing your projects. And we also want to know if you're using any particular tools. So please check the poll.
Shoaib, I have a question. You spoke
Sure.
about the multi skills of the project manager, which is very true. And I think in any other occupation or job, same thing. We cannot be single focus. My question would be, when it comes to project managers, like people like what are possibly the 3 or 4 must-have additional skills to project management, you would say? I think you mentioned finance, which I think today everything's about finance and cost. How would you guide us in, okay, because of the evolving job aspect of it, as you mentioned, what could be the cue to the overskill that we should be looking for?
Yeah, I think this is a very interesting question. I think many of us will be asking that. Yes, definitely. Apart being just having the technical project management skills, so we need, like we just mentioned, AI will be one of the top skills that project managers need to pick. Like they need to be able to make good use of AI and making it to make their life easier to deliver value project. It's not about investing into AI and not trying to get the outcome out of it. And to add to that is, project managers should, or actually I would say must, be using some very good project management tools. I'm not saying that Excel, Word, and PowerPoint is not good. Well, they are all right. But if you try to, each time, I would say if you're using Excel, it's kind of almost reinventing the wheel each time. Whereas if you got the software where you input the data, and this is where you really make good use of AI, where the data is centralized in one place, you can easily, mine these data to get inside and help you in managing your projects. So beyond finance, I would say these, unfortunately, we may call it IT skills, but they should be able to have technology embedded into their work, like having software, project management software, which unfortunately, to a recent survey, we've seen that a huge majority of project managers don't use any specialized project management software. They just go to Excel, try to manage tasks, And we know there is lots and lots of issue that comes by just using very basic tools to manage projects. The second one, I think I mentioned it after technology, is the people skills. Is you should be able to be a people specialist almost, where you need to know how to motivate your team, empathize with your team, try to remove blocking factors for your team. There's also about influencing, managing your stakeholders, which are very critical. So bottom line, I would say these would be the top 3 skills that project managers need to pick up: technology, people skills, and finance.
Thank you very much.
I hope I can say also we've got Rajesh Budu, who has been a proponent of project management education in Mauritius. So Rajesh, would much like to hear from you.
Hi, Shoaib. Hi, everyone. Good evening.
Hi.
Thank you, Dinesh and Shoaib and the host for this insightful webinar. So just my 2 cents. With the exposure and experience I have around working with companies, especially in the financial services sector, what I've seen is the adoption of AI in Mauritius hasn't been as maybe we would have expected. Financial services are more into they believe that automation and making use of automatic replies on particular websites or communication tools communicating with clients. These are the 2 areas where they would typically resort to tools that are already available. Their focus on automation is basically when they come around capturing a lot of information on the accounting, and they resort to a bit of RPA tools that's available. But beyond that, I haven't seen the search for going into AI as such. Maybe one of the particular reason is post-COVID, maybe they faced certain challenges and they had some kind of cost control to do. Another thing is amount of resources and say technical expertise that is available in the country. Maybe that's limited, and seeking resources from overseas is something maybe they don't have budget for at this point in time. So this is something that we would need maybe to seek in the future in enabling this adoption is developing that pool of local expertise. The first thing that we will need to have, and second is definitely for developing those expertise and skills, we would need to have the appropriate education and learning program to be put in place. Yeah, that's a few words I have to say. Thanks for giving me the floor. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you for the comment, Rajesh.
Okay, so I see a couple of people have responded to the poll, but there are more people in the attendees, so I hope you can all participate. It's only 3 little questions. So if you're a project manager, what are the main challenges you're facing in managing your projects, and and if you're using a particular tool. So I already see that there are 2 using Excel other using Microsoft Projects and some under the tool. So shortly, I will be doing a quick, brief presentation on some project management tool with Zoho Project and Zoho Sprints. Okay, so please answer the poll so that we can know more about you, and we can have some topics to take up on the next sessions.
Hello, everyone. Myself, Nashreen. Thank you for this wonderful webinar. I have a question though. So I'm from a finance background, and because of the difficulties of managing projects and so on, so I did Prince 2, quite different from project management, the one that we're doing. So my question would be, from a finance background, as you are aware that we use nowadays, we have a lot of, financial modules that we use for accounting. How does project management, or what tools project management can be used to link or interface to our finance system so that it builds up, our budgeting, our forecasting, and less reliance on Excel and so on? Thank you.
Right. Thank you for the question. So essentially, we just need to look at the perspective how that project management knowledge kind of help you. So first, I think a great initiative for at least going for some project management education. I think this is very laudable. Essentially, nowadays, so we're talking about a projectized economy where we treat everything like a project. So being in the finance sector, I'm sure you have a number of projects going on. It could be about some new compliance initiative, or we could be putting down some new system or launching new products. So there is that project approach where there's project thinking that comes in. So essentially, you need to like some basic things about project management is before you start, you have a very clear idea where you lay out what we call in your project charter, the objective, the resources, the milestone, or the expectation, the assumption, and the risk. So essentially, the project management education comes and helping for you to actually deliver your project or your work in a more effective way. I'm not saying that without project management knowledge, you won't be able to do it. You'll be doing it based on your best effort basis, where you would try to use your common sense. But unfortunately, we know that common sense is not always a common sense. At times, there are things which need to be done in a certain way where common sense not necessarily helps. So this is how the project management education or knowledge cut across sectors. Is not just in IT, not in just construction. It's everywhere. And then the second part of it is, I just didn't understand very well. Maybe you can help me, where you were saying that how project management help with the technology education. What is it? Can you just elaborate a little bit more on that?
So basically, how project management can assist in the budgeting and forecasting for finance.
Okay, so essentially, we leverage a lot about knowledge of finance in project management to do forecasting. So, of course, we have some methodology in place that project management use, but these knowledge areas come a lot from the finance world. Okay, so it's not like in project management that we know it all. Similarly, when we have to use project management information system, we leverage from technology. It's from the technology guru. So, but the project management approach will help you with forecasting in terms of trying to, we've got methodology that helps you identify all the dependencies, trying to identify all stakeholders, managing your requirement, and putting in place some planning how you're going to deliver and make things happen. So this framework definitely helps you in your planning and your forecasting exercise by trying to identify factors. But in terms of the actual doing of the forecasting, this is a finance thing. Even project managers, we go to finance people to understand that. I hope I help you there.
Okay. Thank you, Shweb. But I also want to add, so I'll be doing a quick presentation of Zoho project, and regarding Nusrin's question. So, for example, what are tools that could help in the finance? So, what I could pick up is, for example, in Zoho project, in this project management tool, we can have like timesheets. So, it's easy to capture from the browser, start a timer, and have all the people who are working on the project to input their time in the project. And also from those timesheets, it's easy to generate invoices. So that can integrate with accounting software. So from the project management software to push that data to an accounting software, because now through API automation, we can push this information. And also regarding the planning, the estimate time for particular task and all. So that also helps with the budgeting of the project, as you estimate to put the estimate time for different tasks. And as the project progresses, you can monitor, is the project going on as per the estimate, as per plan. So you can take proactive decisions on how the project is going. And I think if we don't have more question, I'm going to move to my quick presentation on project management tools. It should be okay. Okay, so yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, so we are from I'm from NTB Services. So we have in our portfolio Zoho projects. So Zoho is a very popular company which has which is famous for their CRM, their accounting tools and low-code platforms, etc. So Zoho projects also is a very popular tool from them. So it's a very comprehensive project management solution. So it's an all-in-one. So the main aspects that there are many features I won't be able to cover everything. It's just a sneak peek on what a project management tool can help you in your day-to-day project, managing your projects. So what it helps you is, especially in terms of planning, so it helps you break down your work into tasks. It helps you schedule time and your resources, do the resource allocation, etc. Keep the time spent on the different tasks, so that tracking part. So it allows you to execute actions, the dependencies, monitor the progress, and all this time you have this reporting, and that allows you to monitor and adapt to change. And also a very key aspect in any when working in a project, so it allows for a platform to collaborate. So often you would often relate when we are having many people, several people are doing something together. We will create a WhatsApp group and we will post documents and stuff in it. And it is sometimes it can make things speed things, but for very long, as the projects get bigger, it's difficult to manage finding that information. So if there is a dedicated platform you can have for all your particular projects, you can keep everyone in the loop. You can have contextual information about a particular project, what documents have been shared, if you want to go in the history about what has been discussed. So you can have all that memory, that history of a project in the tool. So essentially, what a project management tool would do is that work breakdown structure. So you have the project, so you able to break it down into the first level. We will break it down. It would be into milestones. So Then within the milestone, you can break it down into task lists. Okay, so for one milestone, you can have several task lists. And as we go deeper, within one task list, you can have the actual task. And as someone is, so the task is actually, there's some owners, so you can assign to your team members and you can monitor the progress of each task. And if that team member, for their own sake, they need to break the work in smaller groups, so they're able to break it down into further subtasks. So even a subtask can be broken down into another subtask. So that, depending on the complexity, you can have a mini level down as needed. Next, so this makes it easy to break the complexity and into manageable parts. So this is, for example, so the main homepage of the dashboard of Zero Project. So the modules are accessible on the left. So you have the homepage, you have the feed, which is all the different communications updates on a particular project. You have the discuss, where you can have a collaboration, discuss about products, share documents, etc., reports. So you can have easily, you can come and on the dashboard, you can easily see what's the status of your main projects. So like any system, it relies on all the people who are assigned to do the input. Once you have the input, it's easy to get all the real-time data status of your project. So you can see a lot of this is customizable. You have different tabs. And for example, so this is the main, here you can see all your ongoing projects, the status, the percentage of the task completed, what would be the start date, the end date, created by whom. So it gives you a bird's eye view on what's happening, and you can then drill down to a particular project getting attention. So to see how easy it's to create, you can create when creating a task, you can put the task name and a quick brief description. You can even put images and bullet points and all that. It's rich text. You can link it to the task list, assign to a particular owner, put a due date. So every time that person will get the reminders automatically. You can set the priorities, even if it's a billable task or not. So you can log the hours, attach document to a task, you even start a thread to discuss about a particular task. So it can that can help really in terms of task creation and assignment. So with that core input done, so you can follow up on all the project. So you can have depending if you're doing Scrum or Kanban, you can have different views. So it's easy to move tasks from open, from status in progress. It's easy to have a quick view on where you are on the project. Now, well, even for you want to have Gantt charts, it can easily generate the Gantt chart. You know where you are. You can adjust. Everything is you can just with the mouse. You can slide in and to extend where needed. You can have calculate the critical path and the baseline. So this is just some screenshot, but in next sessions we'll have a deep dive on the actual application. Today is just a sneak peek. And I was talking earlier, I mentioned the timesheet. So within the browser, you can just select a task and start a timer. So as you start, you complete the task, you stop it, or you can pause it. So automatically the time spent on that task is logged in there. Okay, so then you don't have to separately submit, like, input the time. Although you can do it manually, you can have it automatically captured as you are starting a job. You just open in your browser, and from that timesheet, we can generate invoices to build clients, etc. And also, what makes a project management tool easy is that there is a mobile version. So from your mobile, anywhere, you can check, you can have automation. You can see, for example, here there's an approval. You can check your status, input the time, see notification on your projects. Okay, so the Zoho project is specially adapted for like traditional, but you can also make it for agile projects and as milestones. But we do have a dedicated tool for agile teams. So it's called Zoho Sprints. And with Zoho Sprints, you can all do that planning. So in Agile, you have your project backlog. So here's some couple of screenshots. You can see you can easily create your project backlog and put all the user stories, the ideas, the tasks that you would like to accomplish. And then once you're ready to implement them, you can just add it to a sprint backlog. It's just about moving those items from the backlog to the sprint, and it's easy to manage it. Next, you can see, so it's easy to create whether it's a task or user story. You can see, so even these fields, it's customizable. These are the default fields, but we can customize and add fields as required as per your project, depending. And you can also organize it in your projects into epics, where you can group different sprints. You can see the interface here. You have the backlog, you have the epics, you can have the release, the board, all these reports. It's very user-friendly, colorful, and it's much better than Excel, because everybody can log in and see what tasks they have, what are the deadlines. In Excel, it can get messy, and the system can generate reminders. It's integrated with the calendars. You can see when the tasks are due. So it makes it very practical and easy to manage projects, so that you can, when you have a good tool, it makes you able to focus on the actual work, and that makes you more productive. And so you can also visualize your progress with a board, with the Scrum board. You can visualize all the releases where you are on planning. There are much more features. For today, it's just a quick sneak peek of these products, and they are very affordable also. So if you want to have a trial, just let me know. We'll have my email at the end of the slide. You can contact us, and we can give you a 2-week trial or 1-month trial, so that you can actually try the product. And yeah, so I'm done with if you have particular questions, just let me know. Just in terms of Net2B services, we represent Zoho in Mauritius, and we do have, if you want to have a POC or want to have a trial of the product, we can give you a free trial. We help you with the configuration, the training, etc. And we also provide support on this application. So I hope that, so earlier we saw Shoaib spoke about project management, the skills and all. So but we also need a good, he emphasized on having a proper tool so that it can help us on our day-to-day to manage the project. And so this is one tool that we have been using it internally, and we've seen it is very helpful for us. We thank you for your time. So let me know if you have particular questions and your experience of using project management tools, whether Zoho Projects or other tools. We'll be very happy to hear your feedback.